I mean, with Patreon, this whole episode is pointless because you can just control what your tiers are, how much they are, and what you offer. Like you have Patreon gives you the complete control over your subscription revenue. It's been shown numerically with creator data that whenever you go to Patreon, you lose this volatility that you have from, let's say, Twitch. And like Twitch, you have volatility like month by month. Whenever let's say someone comes in with like 100 gifted subs, the next month you lose that 100 gifted and you may not get it back. So your monthly revenue fluctuates. Patreon is way more stable, and it's found that you activate your best, truest fans there to support you. So it's consistent month by month. It's the most consistent monthly revenue. And Patreon is the one platform that kind of turns this into an actual career because you have reliable monthly income. But you can control your tiers, you can control the pricing of it, and you can control pretty much everything. So it's removing the ability for these platforms to dictate what that cut is. Now, what I don't recall, and I have to look real quick, is what Patreon's cut is. So I'm going to take a look. But
it's a base. It's a base
Patreon. What was that experience like for you there?
It's a base of 90%. Plus, depending like the smaller dollar amounts, they take an extra cut off of that. And as you move to the higher dollar amounts, the cut becomes lesser over time. So it used to be 90-10 flat across the board. And now I think the cut that they take ranges between 5 to 12%, somewhere in there. And with the lower dollar amounts, it could actually be much higher, which actually discourages you from doing things like $1 tiers or $3 tiers on Patreon and going higher dollar tiers. There's also a processing fee. So the reason why smaller donations or smaller dollar amounts don't do as well on Patreon is they have to do a transaction processing fee. And they had to change this over recently because Patreon at first could just do a 90-10 across the board. But then once they looked at the numbers, they realized they were losing a lot of money processing a lot of tiny $1 payments. So they had to change their payment structure so that they weren't losing money off of these small donations. And so now the processing fee is built in there into those smaller dollar amounts. And so anyway, for anybody building a Patreon strategy, I don't recommend having a $1 tier for this reason. I recommend going $5 or higher. Ross, any other closing thoughts? Otherwise, we need to get the hell out of here.
We need to get out of here. This was your daily drop. Full replays, go over to YouTube. You can watch the full video, highlight reel, whatever again. Listen to us. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We will be back tomorrow. Happy creating.